Good afternoon. I'm Craig Fishbein. I represent the 90th District. And that covers Wallingford and Cheshire. And before I switch to my prepared remarks, I just want to give a shout out. You know, there's a young man who, his name is Bob Beaumont. And many of you know Bob, or knew Bob. Bob was a patriot. He lived in my town, not in my district, but he always supported me. He was one of my biggest cheerleaders. Bob was 34 years old. July 1st, Bob was in South Carolina. He had a medical situation. Bob passed away. This morning, he was buried. I know that Bob is here with us today, and ordinarily we would be asking for a moment of silence. I don't ask for a moment of silence. I ask for the loudest damn roar you could possibly make. Thank you. I know, last time this group had a rally, it was very cold, it was sparsely attended. Bob was here. He went to everything that had to do with freedom. So, today I come before you today not just as a state representative, but also as the vice chair of the Conservative Caucus of the legislature. The Conservative Caucus is made up of 17 members of the legislature, and we're dedicated to the principles of limited government, economic freedom, and individual liberty. Our state constitution provides for a government comprised of three co-equal branches. The legislative, whose job it is to pass laws. The executive, whose job it is to administer our laws. And the judiciary, whose job it is to interpret and apply the laws. Our statutes permit that in times of emergency, the governor may be given the power of the legislature. But the legislature has to give that power to him affirmatively. On Wednesday, the legislature will be meeting in this building, House and Senate, to debate and vote on that. I will be voting no, as I have every time I've had the opportunity. Interestingly, last summer, in the height of the pandemic, the legislature was able to come in on an emergency to deal with police accountability. But it couldn't deal with the pandemic. A few weeks ago, after our session ended, the legislature was able to come in and deal with the emergency of marijuana. But it couldn't deal with the pandemic. There's no emergency now. Certainly nothing of a grave nature so appropriate to continue to surrender the power of the legislature to the governor. However, there is a reason to manufacture one, and that is money. That's a reason I do not support. Some of your representatives actually laugh about the fact that if we manufacture an emergency, that the feds will give us money, no matter what the statistics are.
That's fraud. Hold them accountable.
My constituents voted me and these good men and women to represent them and to oppose legislation, or to perhaps support legislation that their constituents want. They didn't vote us into office to accede our power to the governor just for money. In my humble opinion, those elected officials should resign. And make the way for someone that does want to represent their constituents. And with that, I'm going to leave you with a poem. When after a pandemic has long gone away, and yet most representatives want the ill effects to stay, the people must speak up. When children are forced to wear a mask, while clearly the decision is not based upon facts, the people must speak up. When in the course of human events, A governor orders landlords can't collect rents. The people must speak up. When your representatives think it's funny to give their jobs away just for money, the people must speak up. When the governor claims that he did so good, yes, if his goal was to kill livelihood, the people must speak up. In your message, it should be stern, so that maybe they will learn that an extension will not be fine. Tell them you sent them here to work. That is a job they should not shirk. Their contempt is quite over the line. And as we gather here today, by this Capitol doorway, in one message we should align. Present them with the only choice. Be clear and chant with one loud voice. Represent us or resign. Represent us or resign. Represent us or resign. Thank you. Thank you. God bless America.